What if the one moment Heartland fans have been waiting for is finally here? Imagine the heartbreak of losing Ty Borden turning into the greatest twist in Heartland history. The latest Season 19 trailer has left fans buzzing, and the biggest shock is this: Ty Borden himself appears to sign on the dotted line, a move that could change everything we thought we knew about the future of the show. The news of Ty Borden's name appearing in the Season 19 trailer has shaken the Heartland fandom to its core. For years, audiences believed his story had ended, and Amy was left to pick up the pieces of a life shattered by tragedy. But now, the possibility that Graham Wardle might step back into Ty's boots is more real than ever, sending shockwaves of hope across the Heartland community. What does signing on the dotted line mean? Could it be a direct hint at his return as a central character, or is it a clever piece of misdirection meant to keep fans guessing until the season premieres? This single moment has raised countless questions and sparked endless debates, showing once again how deeply the story of Amy and Ty still matters to people around the world. Heartland has always thrived on its ability to connect with viewers on an emotional level. It's not just about horses, family, or the beautiful Alberta landscape, it's about the raw human stories at its core. Ty and Amy's relationship was more than a love story, it was the heartbeat of the show. Their struggles, their victories, their sacrifices, they mirrored the kind of journey every viewer longs for or remembers from their own lives. When Ty was written out, that heartbeat faltered, and many believed it could never be restored. Yet here we are, standing at the edge of a possible miracle, one that could bring back the magic fans thought they had lost forever. The mystery of the trailer runs deeper than just a signature. Fans have analyzed every frame, every hidden clue, and every subtle expression from the cast, searching for answers. Why would the creators tease something so bold if there wasn't a plan behind it? Heartland is not known for cheap tricks. Its storytelling has always leaned on sincerity, emotional truth, and respect for its characters. This means that if Ty Borden's presence is being hinted at, there's a carefully crafted narrative waiting in the wings. The phrase, signing on the dotted line, suggests commitment, a decision that cannot be undone. Could this mean Ty is officially re-entering Amy's life? Or is it symbolic, representing closure or a surprising twist tied to his legacy? Behind the scenes, the whispers have only grown louder. Graham Wardle has been more visible than in recent years, with fresh photoshoots, interviews, and updates, hinting that his journey with Heartland may not be entirely over. In one interview, he spoke about the impact Ty had on his life and the bond he felt with fans who saw themselves in that character. He never fully shut the door on a return, leaving a sliver of hope alive. Now, with the trailer sparking new theories, that sliver has widened into a doorway big enough for fans to imagine Ty riding back into their hearts. But perhaps the most intriguing part of this speculation is how it would affect Amy. Over the last few seasons, she has grown stronger, braver, and more independent, carrying the weight of heartbreak while continuing to guide her family forward. Her journey of healing has inspired fans everywhere, proving that loss does not define the end of life. It can also shape resilience. If Ty truly returns, Amy would face the greatest test yet. Could she embrace the man she lost, or would she struggle to reconcile the past with the present? Their love story would not simply restart, it would evolve into something more complex, layered with forgiveness, time, and the reality of who they have become apart. The tension, the emotion, and the suspense all converge on this one chilling thought: what if the dotted line is more than just a tease? What if it's the start of a new chapter fans never thought they'd get to see? Heartland Season 19 could be the turning point in the entire saga, and the trailer may have just given us the biggest hint yet. The idea of Ty Borden's return is more than just fan wishful thinking, it's becoming the heartbeat of every Heartland discussion. Since the trailer dropped, the fandom has been in overdrive, dissecting what signing on the dotted line could actually mean. Was it a direct reference to Ty himself? Or was it a clever metaphor for a new storyline connected to his legacy? The brilliance of Heartland lies in its ability to plant subtle seeds that grow into powerful emotional arcs, and this trailer feels like the beginning of one such seed. The words themselves, signing on the dotted line, carry weight. They signify permanence, finality, a decision that changes everything. For longtime fans, that one phrase has become the spark that could ignite the revival of one of television's most beloved characters. To understand why this single trailer moment has caused such a storm, we need to look back at how deeply Ty's story shaped Heartland. From the very beginning, Ty represented growth, redemption, and hope. He wasn't just Amy's partner, he was a symbol of how people can rise above hardship and create a life worth living. His journey from a troubled young man to a devoted father and husband made him unforgettable. So when his character met a tragic end, the grief wasn't limited to Amy and her family, it echoed across living rooms worldwide. Fans felt as though they had lost someone close to them. That kind of attachment doesn't disappear, even after years. Which is why the possibility of Tai returning isn't just exciting, it's deeply emotional. It touches the very soul of Heartland storytelling, but how could the writers possibly explain his reappearance? That's where theories swirl like wildfire. Some believe the dotted line could represent legal papers, perhaps Tai had been alive all along, hidden for reasons yet unknown, and now his signature confirms his re-entry into the family. Others argue it could be symbolic, maybe Graham Wardle has signed back into his role officially, and the trailer is hinting at that in a subtle yet powerful way. Then there's the dramatic angle fans love to explore, a long-lost twin brother. A fake death to protect loved ones, or even a shocking revelation that changes everything we thought we knew. Each possibility feels bold, but none are out of the question when it comes to creating a twist big enough to bring back a character like Tai. Still, we cannot ignore the other side of the coin, the heartbreak and conflict such a return would bring. Amy has endured so much since Tai's death. She has rebuilt her life piece by piece, becoming more independent, more grounded, and more determined to move forward. She has faced new challenges and even new relationships, including her complicated connection with Nathan. Bringing Tai back into this landscape would not just be emotional, it would be explosive. How would Amy handle seeing the man she once loved standing in front of her again? Would her heart leap with joy, or would it crumble under the weight of confusion and anger? Could she forgive him if he chose to stay away for reasons he believed were right? These are the questions that make the possibility of Tai's return not just exciting, but gripping. The beauty of this storyline lies in its ability to test every character around Tai as well. Jack, who considered Tai a son. Georgie, who looked up to him as a role model. And most of all, Lindy, the daughter who never got the chance to grow up with her father by her side. The trailer's dotted line might be pointing toward a reunion not just for Amy and Tai, but for the entire Heartland family. Imagine the emotional weight of Lindy seeing her father for the first time in years, the father she has only known through stories, memories, and photos. The emotional power of such a moment could bring audiences to tears, reminding them why Heartland has always been more than just a show, it's a family experience. Behind all the speculation, one truth remains clear: Graham Wardle's presence, even hinted, reignites the magic of Heartland in a way nothing else can. Whether his return is permanent, symbolic, or even a one-time closure, the trailer has already succeeded in pulling fans back into the emotional core of the story. People aren't just curious about Season 19 anymore, they're invested, waiting breathlessly to see if Tai Borden's name on that dotted line means what they hope it does. Heartland Season 19 promises to be a season unlike any other. The dotted line has become a symbol of hope, a beacon that suggests the impossible might just be possible. And if the trailer is any indication, fans are about to witness one of the most suspenseful and emotional chapters in the show's history. The question on everyone's mind is this: why now? Why would Heartland's creative team choose Season 19 as the moment to reintroduce Tai Borden's name in such a bold way? For years, the show has carefully built its storylines around Amy's growth. Without Tai, she has endured loss, faced loneliness, and risen stronger each time. Viewers watched her transform from someone who relied on her partnership with Tai into a woman who stands tall on her own, guiding her family and raising Lindy while carrying the weight of the past. So why drop such a monumental clue now? The timing alone suggests something deliberate, something bigger than just fan service. It feels like the writers are preparing to deliver a chapter that redefines Heartland's very identity. What makes this moment even more gripping is the careful balance Heartland has always struck between realism and emotional drama. Unlike other shows, Heartland doesn't rely on wild, unbelievable twists. Its strength lies in its authenticity. Every heartbreak, every triumph, every tear feels rooted in real human experience. That's why the possibility of Tai's return, though shocking, cannot be dismissed as impossible. If the creators are brave enough to bring him back, they would do so in a way that respects the realism the show has built over nearly 2 decades. This means the dotted line isn't just a flashy trailer tease, it could be the foundation of a carefully woven storyline that gives fans what they crave while staying true to Heartland's heart. The symbolism of a dotted line is too powerful to ignore. A dotted line is where decisions are made permanent, where promises are sealed, where futures are shaped. In the context of Heartland, it might signify Tai signing something official, a contract, a will, a document that ties his name back to the Bartlett-Fleming family. Could this mean he never truly left them, at least not in spirit? Or could it suggest he's ready to step back into their lives in a way that changes everything? The ambiguity has fans theorizing endlessly, with each theory carrying its own mix of hope and heartbreak. One of the most compelling theories is that Tai never truly died. This idea, while bold, has been gaining traction in fan circles since the trailer dropped. Some speculate that Ty may have gone into hiding, perhaps to protect Amy and Lindy from a threat we never fully understood. Others argue that his supposed death was a tragic mistake, a case of mistaken identity or misinformation. If that were true, then the dotted line could represent his re-entry into the world he left behind. It's the kind of dramatic reveal that, if handled with emotional sincerity, could become one of the most unforgettable moments in Heartland's history, but with the possibility of Ty's return comes the storm of emotions it would unleash. Amy's heart has been through fire since losing him. She has learned to be independent, to raise her daughter without leaning on the love she once depended on. Bringing Ty back would not only reopen old wounds, it would also force Amy to confront feelings she thought she had buried. Could she forgive him if he had chosen to stay away? Would the years of separation weaken their bond, or would it prove that true love never dies? These are the emotional battles that would grip viewers, turning every episode into a heart-wrenching experience. And then there's Lindy, whose childhood has been shaped by stories of her father rather than his presence. If Ty is alive, Lindy would meet him not as a little girl but as a child with her own identity, her own questions, and her own feelings about the father she was told she lost. How would she respond? With joy? With confusion? With anger at the years he wasn't there? This emotional conflict could be one of the most powerful storylines Heartland has ever attempted, offering viewers a chance to see the next generation grapple with the same themes of love, loss, and forgiveness that have always defined the show. Of course, none of this speculation would matter if not for Graham Wardle himself. His recent steps, updating his professional portfolio, participating in photo shoots, giving thoughtful interviews, have only fueled the fire. He has spoken about how much the role of Ty meant to him and how deeply fans connected to the character. Yet, he has never firmly closed the door on returning. That silence, that careful choice of words, has given fans hope. And now, with the Season 19 trailer dropping this dotted line bombshell, it feels less like wishful thinking and more like preparation for something real. The suspense is unbearable because it's not just about a character returning, it's about restoring the heartbeat of the show. Heartland has thrived in Ty's absence, but it has also carried a lingering emptiness. If his return becomes reality, it won't just be a plot twist, it will be a seismic event, reshaping the emotional core of the series. The dotted line might seem small, just a phrase in a trailer, but its weight has sent ripples through the entire fandom, leaving everyone to wonder, is this the beginning of the impossible becoming possible? The mystery of Ty Borden's dotted line moment is not only about what it means for him, but also about the ripple effect it would send across every corner of the Heartland universe. If Ty truly returns, whether through a shocking twist or a long-hidden truth, the show's entire dynamic will shift. Heartland is built on family bonds, trust, and healing, but a revelation of this scale would challenge every one of those values. Imagine Jack, the patriarch who embraced Ty as his own grandson. For years, Jack carried the grief of losing him, the weight of watching Amy break down, and the sorrow of seeing Lindy grow up without a father. If Ty steps back into that world, Jack's emotions would be overwhelming. Would his love for Ty override the anger he might feel at being left in the dark? Would he embrace him immediately, or would the wounds of deception take time to heal? Georgie, too, would be thrown into emotional turmoil. Ty was always a guiding force in her life, someone she looked up to during her own struggles. She built her strength partly on the lessons she learned from him, lessons about resilience and hope. If she discovers he has been alive all this time, her faith in him would be shaken. The young woman she has become is strong, but this revelation would cut deep. For her, the return of Ty would not only be joyous, it would force her to question everything she thought she knew about love, loyalty, and trust. And then there's Nathan. His growing presence in Amy's life has been one of the most discussed storylines in recent seasons. For many fans, Nathan represents a chance for Amy to move forward, even if they never fully accepted him as Ty's replacement. If Ty reappears, Nathan's entire role would be thrown into question. Would Amy still feel torn between the man who was her past and the one who could be her future? Or would Ty's return erase any doubt, pulling her heart instantly back to where it always belonged? The tension between these three characters, Amy, Ty, and Nathan, could become one of the most emotionally explosive triangles in Heartland history, raising questions that would keep viewers glued to their screens week after week. Of course, the biggest emotional storm would be inside Amy herself. Ty's return would not simply mean a reunion, it would mean facing every suppressed feeling she has carried since his death. She has fought to accept her new reality, to raise Lindy with strength and independence, to find happiness even while carrying grief. Seeing Ty again would shatter that delicate balance. Part of her would rejoice, overwhelmed with relief and love, but another part would rage against him for the pain his absence caused. Could she trust him again? Could she allow herself to fall back into the arms of a man who left her to fight so many battles alone? These questions cut to the heart of Amy's character and would test her like never before. And what of Lindy? For a child, the idea of meeting the father she believed was gone would be a moment too powerful to describe. Lindy has grown up with stories and pictures, not memories. Her understanding of Ty comes only through the words of her mother and family. Meeting him in person would change her identity forever. Would she embrace him instantly as the father she never had, or would she struggle to connect with a stranger who suddenly claims a place in her life? This emotional conflict could become one of the most moving storylines Heartland has ever explored, offering a generational perspective on love, loss, and forgiveness. The dotted line in the trailer might seem like a small hint, but in reality, it's a bombshell. It has reignited the possibility of Ty's return in a way that no interview, rumor, or whisper ever has. It is official, it is deliberate, and it has meaning. The production team behind Heartland is too careful with its storytelling to drop such a reference without purpose. For years, they have guarded Ty's legacy with respect, never trivializing his absence. That makes this hint all the more powerful, because it feels intentional, as though the writers are finally preparing fans for the unthinkable. Outside of the storyline, the timing could not be more significant. Graham Wardle himself has been re-emerging into the public eye, with renewed activity in his career that cannot be ignored. His silence about the show has always been respectful, but lately, his words and actions have felt different. Subtle but deliberate, they suggest a man who is preparing for something. Combine that with the trailer's shocking dotted line tease, and it becomes almost impossible to dismiss the possibility that the impossible might actually happen. The suspense grows with every passing day, and fans are left clinging to hope, dissecting every clue, and waiting for the truth to be revealed. If Ty does return, it will not only mark one of the most emotional moments in Heartland's history, it will also reshape the very soul of the series. And if he doesn't, the dotted line will remain a symbol of what could have been, a tantalizing reminder of the connection fans still feel to a character who never truly left their hearts. The more fans think about Ty Borden's possible return, the more the mystery of that dotted line grows. Was it meant to symbolize closure, or a new beginning? Heartland has always been careful with symbolism, using small details to foreshadow major changes in the storyline. Every season has had those subtle hints and offhand comment, a family tradition, or a quiet moment that later unfold into something much larger. That's why this dotted line moment feels intentional, like a breadcrumb left by the writers to prepare viewers for a dramatic reveal. And in a series as beloved and long-running as Heartland, such a breadcrumb cannot be overlooked. What makes this even more intriguing is the emotional weight of a dotted line itself. It's a commitment, a promise sealed with ink, a choice that cannot be erased. If Ty's name appears there, it could signify his official re-entry into the Bartlett-Fleming family in a way that changes everything. Some believe it could be legal papers related to the ranch, or perhaps something connected to Lindy's future. Others think it could be a metaphor, suggesting Ty has recommitted to his family, to Amy, and to the life he once had. The beauty of this theory is that it works on both levels, practical and emotional. And that's exactly what Heartland has always excelled at, blending grounded storytelling with emotional depth that resonates far beyond the screen. But we cannot ignore the storm of conflict this dotted line would unleash. For Amy, the return of Ty would not only be a dream come true but also the hardest challenge of her life. She has worked tirelessly to heal, to find stability, and to move forward for Lindy's sake. A part of her has accepted the loss, as painful as it was, and built a new identity around it. To suddenly have Ty back in her world would shake the foundation of everything she has built. Could she forgive him for the years of silence, for not being there through her struggles? Would she welcome him back with open arms, or would her heart resist, afraid to trust again? These questions are not easy, and that's exactly why this storyline is so powerful, because it forces Amy to confront the deepest corners of her heart. And then there's Lindy. For her, this dotted line could mean a father she's only ever dreamed of suddenly becoming real. The little girl who grew up hearing bedtime stories about Ty would finally meet the man behind the memories. But such a reunion would not be simple. Children feel things in raw, unfiltered ways. Lindy might rejoice at finally having her father. But she could also feel anger or confusion about why he wasn't there all along. That complexity would add layers of realism to her character and create some of the most emotional scenes Heartland has ever delivered. After all, this is not just a love story between Amy and Ty, it's a family story, and Lindy's reaction would be at the very heart of it. Jack, too, would face a battle within himself. The man who taught Ty how to live with integrity and heart. who considered him like a grandson, would be torn between relief and disappointment. Jack's wisdom and calm have always guided the family, but this situation would test even him. Could he simply welcome Ty back without demanding answers? Could he forgive the absence, or would he feel betrayed that someone he loved like his own blood left them in darkness? Jack's reaction alone could become a defining moment of season 19, shaping how the family moves forward. And then there's Nathan, a character who has been carefully woven into Amy's storyline since Ty's departure. For some fans, he is a distraction, while for others, he represents a possible new chapter. But one thing is certain, Ty's return would completely change Nathan's place in Amy's life. If Amy is forced to choose between the man she lost and the man who has been standing by her side, the tension would be overwhelming. For viewers, this love triangle could become one of the most emotional and suspenseful arcs in the show's history. What makes this all the more real is the silence from the production team. They haven't confirmed or denied the rumors. They've let the trailer speak for itself, fueling speculation and leaving fans desperate for answers. This silence isn't accidental, it's strategic. By giving just enough to spark hope but not enough to confirm anything, they've created a storm of anticipation that has put Heartland Season 19 at the center of conversation across social media. Every fan theory, every discussion, every hopeful post adds to the suspense, making the wait for the season's premiere feel almost unbearable. The truth is, whether Ty returns as himself, as a new version of his character, or even just in memory, the dotted line has already succeeded in doing something remarkable. It has brought the fandom together again. Fans who drifted away after Ty's death are back, engaged, talking, and hoping. New viewers, curious about the buzz, are revisiting old episodes to understand why this character meant so much. In that sense, the dotted line isn't just a hint, it's a revival of the very spirit of Heartland. One way or another, Season 19 is shaping up to be the most emotional, suspenseful, and unforgettable chapter of the series. And if Ty Borden's name truly is written in ink on that dotted line, fans are about to witness a comeback that television history will never forget. As the trailer edges toward its conclusion, it leaves fans with a final shot that refuses to fade quietly from memory. The moment Ty places his pen on the paper and officially signs the dotted line, the silence around him feels louder than any storm. His decision is final, or at least that's how it appears. The weight of that single act echoes across Heartland, like a ripple in a still lake, touching everyone connected to him. For Amy, this could mean the start of a brand new chapter, one where her husband has finally chosen stability and commitment over uncertainty. But even as the audience feels a surge of hope, there's an undeniable tension layered beneath the surface, as though the story is only just beginning. The signing doesn't feel like an end. It feels like a beginning filled with both light and shadows. This is where the true suspense lies. Fans know Heartland rarely leaves a storyline simple or straightforward. Every major decision brings challenges, triumphs, and heartbreaks, and this one is no different. Ty signing the dotted line might secure his future, but what about the promises it silently carries? What about the unexpected responsibilities that might come with it? In the world of Heartland, a character's choice often comes at a cost, and the cost here could very well be revealed in the episodes that follow. That moment of signing isn't just about Ty, it's about how Amy, Lindy, Jack, and the rest of the family will react and adapt to this new reality. It's about the test of loyalty, the test of courage, and the test of love. The trailer leaves viewers with burning questions, ones that will not be easily answered until the full season unfolds. Will Ty's decision strengthen his bond with Amy, or will it slowly drive a wedge between them? Will the dotted line represent a chance for the couple to finally heal from all the years of distance and uncertainty, or will it introduce a new storm they never saw coming? These are the questions that ignite fan theories, spark debates, and fuel countless discussions online. Because in truth, the dotted line is not just paper and ink, it's a symbol of the next phase of Heartland, one that may be more complex than anything we've seen before, but perhaps the most powerful part of this ending is the message it sends to longtime viewers. It reminds them that Heartland is not just about horses, or ranch life, or even love alone. It is about resilience, the kind that shines brightest when everything else seems uncertain. Ty signing that paper is proof that sometimes, even the most complicated hearts can find